Welcome back, guys. In this video we're going to show you how to set up your paddleboard, whether it's a wakey, lakey, or rock, or whichever paddleboard it is. It's all the same. So without any further ado, let's get started. Let's get up so that we can get this thing rocking and rolling inside there. So come, let's get started. All right, so we got our bag set up. This area is a little bit narrow, and as you can see, the currents are a little bit choppy. So this might be part one, the setup video, and then part two, we'll probably work our way into the water. Sometimes it's hard to gauge when is a good time to actually do this, because you can be like, the weather is so nice where you are, and then when you get to your destination, the currents are kind of choppy like that. Let me just put this like this. There we go. Get our setup so that we don't fall down. So here's our pump. You want to keep the pump in the, stay out of the red zone. Yellow is okay depending on your weight. And then you have green. For me, I like to do 11. It says 15, but it all depends on your weight, so it's preference. All right, so then we have that. Then we have this tubular thing that goes onto the pump. There are two sides to the pump. This is to deflate. You can deflate it, but I'll show you how to deflate it by hand really easily. Just keep, pushing down or pumping in reverse. But this is the way the connector goes on so that you can, inflate it. So to inflate goes like this, if you want to see that? And you want to make sure it turns so that it locks on. The paddles you can do afterwards, all right? And then we go here. Depends on what your style is for rowing. For us, I believe we're just gonna leave it. Do one. So you unlock it like that. See that? And then push it in and let it lock in. Just be careful. Sometimes they do become loose. And then you have your handle, which is part. It's another part in there. Hopefully, we didn't leave it on the other beach. It's not here. Probably in the bottom. Here's our fin, which is right here. See? That'll go on last. And there should be another attachment for the valve. I think I may have left that at home. Now we have the star of the show. Here it is. Here's the other handle. I'm just checking our fins. They will bend, in transport. So if you're gonna do one, you would just do, oh wow, interesting. I guess it would go the other way. But in this case, if you do two, this would go like this. I'll show you guys in a second. We'll just set it up for two since the waters are choppy. This is just a spare piece right here. Extra, I'm not sure, foil or for something. If you know what it is, please do share. All right, so now just want to be careful, look for sharp things, because you do not want to scratch this, because then you can actually have a slight puncture and you don't want that. So now, again, you don't want to scratch it so you don't puncture it accidentally. So we're just going to unroll it, move everything out of the way. As you can see, make room. Sometimes you'll have more space. Sometimes you'll have less space, like this one. And this one's pretty good because if you look at the sand, there isn't anything sharp, but I'm checking. Because remember, people have parties on the beach and do all the things we're not supposed to. I mean, it's just having fun, but sometimes they could leave sharp objects laying around. All right, so we're clear from sharp. You could work on the rocks if you have shoes on. Rocks are pretty good, but the rocks are mixed with shells. So now what we're gonna do is, here's our valve. See? It's set to inflate. So as we can see here, if we can do that, it's inflate. If it's pushed in, then it's one or the other. Then that means it's deflating. So we want this spring action to be like that, so that when we pump it, the air doesn't come out. So we can get the full gist of it before the tide comes in. See the tide coming in? So we're kind of working a little bit against the clock. Hopefully we can fill this baby up before things get a little rough. All right, I'll start pumping. Here we are. Got to get it to 11. It'll take about 10 minutes, hopefully before the other paddle boarders show up. Just got to keep on pumping until we can't pump no more. Kind of neat, huh? Gotta love it. Nice. It's good to see other paddle boarders out here because now we know that it's somewhat safe, but they're not using inflatable. So now we're at 11. 11 is ideal for me because I know my weight. So you'll have to figure out which works best for you. But as you can see, for me, 11 is optimal. We still have to put on the fin and make sure that the air isn't gonna come flying out. If it does, then you're back to square one. See? If it flies out, then you just gotta close the valve and then start pumping again. Okay, and there's a little tool that comes with it that allows you to loosen or tighten that if you got a slow leak. So let's do that. So we're good, almost good. Put our stuff back in the bag. As you see, the tide's coming in, so you probably want to move your stuff a little further back so that if the tide comes in, your stuff is not gonna get drenched and soaked. So now we got to put on the fin. Someone all the way out there, really cool, sailing off into the sunset. Fin's a little tricky, but totally doable. You got to just tilt over your, somehow get your paddleboard to stand, right? So there's a little angle. Remember, look for sharp stuff. And then now, as you can see, got a nice angle. So what you want to do is put your paddleboard in the right position, and as you can see, just slide it in like that. Make sure it's facing this way. Then push. Again, and push. If it goes in, if it doesn't, pull it back out, and then do it again. So we got to push it out, or you could turn it upside down and do it. It's fine. You don't have to be at an angle. But the trick is to make sure there isn't any dirt or debris in there so that you can push it in. There we go. And then this part, it's a little tricky because the wind's blowing, but we can get it in without the wind blowing us. And there's a little button that you press to remove it and take it out. But see, voila, it snapped right in. And then now, that's what I was looking at. It's just some stretching, but it's fine. I mean, it's how it came. More like a cosmetic default. I will show you the oars so you can see. So you have one here. If you prefer one handle, just use the one handle, which is right here with that end, okay? Which most likely you would just pull out and adjust accordingly. See? It goes into the one I just pulled out. So you can just put this in and snap it closed. 205, I believe, is the max, or 82. But for me, I'm not going to use this one because the water is kind of choppy and I might get tired. So I'm going to use the Daily Double. So I have one on this end. See, and if we go all the way, you can see the other one there. Again, the water's choppy, a little bit tricky. I think I'm gonna take my DJI mic off in case I fall into the water. So again, put this aside if you're not gonna use it. And there's our setup with the board. Kind of neat, huh? Gotta love it. All right, water's a little bit choppy. You could always wear this thing. You actually want to wear it in case you fall in. So we're just about ready to go in. The audio is not so great because I had to take the DJI mic off because I actually fell in the water. So it's a good thing I took it off because the water is really choppy. But it's just a great day for it. And the good thing is that the water is actually, or as you could say, the current is actually pushing the waves to the shore, which is ideal because it's really hard to paddle back to shore
when the waves are actually pushing you back out into the ocean or the bay, away from the bay. So you want to be careful there and make sure you have your bearings and are comfortable, or even have the strength to make your way back, because as strong as a swimmer or paddler you might be, eventually you will get tired. And for me, I like to just row along the shoreline. I don't like to go all the way out unless it's a lake. If you're at a lake, it's fine. The water's calm and you're only going to go wherever you paddle, because there's no current, nothing pushing you in the other direction. Possibly the wind might push you to the other side of the mountain, but you could always walk around back, or just walk along the water, whatever works for you. But as you can see here, it's a struggle just to get out because the waves are actually going in the other direction. But once you get out further enough, you can pretty much ride along the coast until you're ready to go back in and let the waves work their magic and just push you back in. Then it's just a matter of being careful to make sure that you don't ruin your board and have it flip over, because remember, it's an inflatable board. As you can see, things are just moving along here, picking up some speed, actually going pretty fast, to be honest with you, picking up some traction. And that's why I like using both sides. You could use the one paddle. The one paddle would be ideal for if you're standing, because I'm a little bit heavier. I just can't stand on this board, and I don't have that inner balance that will let you, work that magic while standing. If I ever got pulled over for a DWI, I'd probably ask them to take me to the hospital for blood work, because I just couldn't. I don't have the balance, But knowing that moving forward, look at that, Lacey, just riding the waves, riding along. It's just awesome. The only downside again is because, as you can see, I'm all wet because I fell in, and that would have been the end of my DJI mic. And we already lost one drone over the weekend, and the last thing I need to do is my mic, because I don't know what the options are if your mic is covered by Care Refresh. Are they shipping mics out, or just they're not just shipping drones too? I'm not sure, so I didn't want to take that chance, which is why we get the voiceover here for this particular video. But as you can see, it's just a blast. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going back in here. I'm gonna bring it in and take the air out and show you guys the rest.
All right, now when you're done, it's somewhat easy. What you want to do is take off your fin. The debris we can get off afterwards when we bring it back in the water after we fold it. Whoa! You could flip it upside down. There's a little latch here. You push down on this latch and you pull with the string on the other side. So it's like a push down and pull, and that slides out. And then you take your fin, and this might be a little bit trickier to get your fin out. It goes in like fling, but out not so easily. So voila. Don't worry about the sand. I'm going to show you how to get that off after we deflate it. Okay? So now we're going to flip the board over. You might have to put it back in the water if your valve is covered with sand, because you don't want any sand on it. So I'm going to put this back in the water just to get the sand out. One moment. Now that it's clean from all debris, we're ready to open the valve and let some of the air out. So this is gonna, she's like, wait, no air's coming out, because what you have to do is push it in and then turn it so it locks. Ready? 3, it's gonna get loud. See? And as you let go, the air will just keep coming out because the button is stuck in. And now you can start folding it before the tide comes in. Folding it's really easily done with 2 hands. Just get some of the debris off your other stuff. Just gonna clean that off. Look out for old diapers floating around. I'm just gonna put this with some of the other stuff. And now we can start rolling it up into little quarters until the air continues, right, to come out. See, we got one fold here. It's got to be the similar width to what you experienced on bagging it, right? And we'll just keep putting, don't worry about the sand. We just want all the air out of the valve. That's all. so you guys can get a better view of what exactly it is that we're doing. I'll make sure that that's pushed in. And if it's pushed in, all you gotta do is roll it. Keep rolling it. That'll come off in the water. When we get the sand off, I'll show you guys. See? Just do it slowly. Do it in, remember, it's gotta be able to fit back into the bag. See? Voila. It takes a while. It's like a adventure / workout. Big task. But don't be intimidated by it. Some people actually leave their boards filled up somewhere, you know, like on the side. If you have a dock, use your dock. If you can just lock it. So now that the valve is covered, there's no debris. Make sure there's no debris on that, and just get it off your hands. Just get all the excess off, right? As you can see, we folded it as much as we could to get all of the air out. And now we're just gonna make sure that the valve is free from debris. Close it. And now we'll bring it back into the water to get all that off. I'll show you what we do. Unfortunately, the water is a little bit choppy. Look for an area where it's somewhat doable. And then we just drop it in and then open it. And then it's not gonna go away. Because remember the current, we're lucky because the current is actually going the other way, right? So we're gonna open it again. See all that sand? And then once it's opened again, it's easier to fold in the water too. Just tilt it over, get all the sand out. See, just clean it all. See that? And then just some over here. Voila. Once most of it's off, see, so much easier. And it'll be so much easier to roll up because we're gonna roll it from here. See, it's flat, and there's a little thingy to get rid of all that debris. So remember, we don't want it in our bag. And now, if you get the right angle, you should be able to fold it again. See, in the water. Just making sure all my angles are nice. And then we have here, see? And then what you'll do is you'll hold it, right, sideways so all the water comes out in between. I'll show you. Grab this thing, free this thing from the debris, anything that you can wash off. See? It's washing back to shore. But what we're gonna do is turn it sideways. See? Like that. So all the water comes out from the bottom. And then the other hardest part will probably be going to get our bag. We have here. So you're gonna have to take the pump out so you can put this back in, but all is done in reverse. And remember, we kept everything in the bag so that we could weigh it down and so it wouldn't fly away with the wind. The pump does weigh quite a bit. We have our fin bag, another bag for the goodies. And then now, this can go back in. See? Easily. And flat. Fins can go like that. And then this can go like that. Somewhat. See? Voila. Everything is squared in. Make sure pieces don't go flying. One piece just flew away. I'm not sure what this is, but we keep it. Inside the bag, we put our fin. Or whatever. I think it's a waterproof bag to some extent if you're able to fold it and long enough and then seal it like that. But we just put the fin in there, keep track of stuff. Not sure what this strap is for. Probably to wrap around the board, right? So you can seal the deal, let it wrap around. Okay, your paddle board. And now we're gonna put the pump back in. Just unscrew that. See? And the pump, might have to clean it, hose it down. But not today, because I'm probably going to use it again tomorrow. But when you long-term store it, probably. So put that in there like that. See, voila. And then we will get our fin or paddle. See, we got one. And remember that's the other extension. And then we have 2 and 3 parts, just to get the water out. Okay. So we don't want anything rusting or getting corroded. And then we'll put this to your likings. I like to put it like this on the side. Put one on one side and then one on the other side. These 2 can go here. Should have a total of 4 parts, so check your bag. It's like, wait, where's my other stuff? 4, yep. And then the other one, could always rinse this in the water if you don't want it in your bag. Then we have here, this can go in there like that. Whichever way, there's no right or wrong. All this stuff just basically has to fit in the bag. Okay? Then we zip it up. And voila. See? Got yourself a nice little backpack like this. If I can somehow, voila. All that weight. Kind of neat, huh? Just like quicksand. So, just be careful, watch for the current. Sometimes you might get somewhere and then realize you can't paddleboard there because the winds are too strong or the currents are too, choppy for the wake experience. But if you see other people in there, don't be intimidated by that. And if you do see other people in there, look for what kind of board they have, because if they have an inflatable, it makes a big difference if you see other inflatables in there. Whereas if they have the regular, I think it's fiberglass, boards, they can withstand more wind, more current. So, you'd be like, oh, I can go there. A paddleboard is in there, but they might not even have inflatables. They might be, using the regular boards that you don't inflate and that you put on top of your car. So just, be on the lookout for that. And you know how to swim. Don't go all the way out. I like to go along the coast, as you saw. That works for me, and do what works for you. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope this video helped you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.